Fernandez for 5 minutes for questioning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, witnesses, for your testimony. As we were moving back and forth between the votes, I was listening to it in my office and, over the microphones, and I really was appreciative of the incredible work that you each are doing with a respect for the importance that having access and coordination and access to our public lands for all Americans is really key. New Mexico is home to nearly 25 million acres of federal land, and we understand deeply the importance of creating ways for our people, wherever you live and whatever your socioeconomic circumstances are, to be able to enjoy those lands, especially the beautiful outdoor areas. We've heard over and over again the benefits that these have for your health, the benefits that they have for how you feel part of a community. I like to think that as New Mexicans, we are people of the land. Native Americans, Latinos, ranchers, we are people who really value our landed landscape. Mr. Reynolds, thank you for your testimony. I noticed that there was a 10-year survey that was released in 2020 from the Park Service that showed that 77% of park visitors were white. But we are a pluralistic society, a pluralistic country. The beautiful mosaic of Black Americans, Native Americans, Pacific Islanders, AAPI, the beautiful sort of diversity of our country and of our states. And what's sad is sometimes you read about people who live right next to a public land but somehow don't make it there, right? So can you give us an example of how the Improving Outdoor Recreation Coordination Act would help the Park Service implement policies to improve that kind of access for everyone? You can use New Mexico or other places if you like. Of course, I'm from New Mexico, so you're telling me some New Mexican things, I'm going to like it a lot.
That was to me, is that right, Congresswoman? To the Park Service? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
So FICOR, which we've been under a memorandum of understanding right now, is working really well to talk about particularly, I think, what you just eloquently spoke of serving underserved populations and trying to figure out how best to connect with them. So it's going to leverage, if we could get this to stick around, this committee, the ability to communicate with these communities, the ability for the communities themselves to interact with the agencies sort of in a, I'll use a colloquialism of one-stop shopping, right? You can get all the land and water management agencies at one time. So I think that the consistency and coordination and communication would be a long ways, especially when we're trying to reach larger populations that may not be using, to your point, the public lands. So that's why we're very in favor of it from that side.
Right, and when we say this land is public land, it's your land, people need to really feel that, and they are part of it. And indeed, I think our public lands helps us create unity in this country. I think the people I serve with on this committee really love the countries and the states that they live in and the public lands that are there. They want to make sure everybody has access to them, and I do appreciate that sentiment that we have on this committee. Ms. Emanuel, thank you for your testimony. I also understand that while we want to increase access to our public lands, we must do so in a way that minimizes the negative impacts that visitors might have, and being respectful of the community surrounding us. Can you discuss how the Gateway Community and Recreation Enhancement Act would affect Forest Service coordination with gateway communities on tribal lands?
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think it could really help us expand and enhance existing partnerships that balance the needs, as you said, of holistic land management and travel and tourism opportunities, and support just a little bit better understanding and coordination of how that balancing act can be in service to both heritage and cultural resource tourism, as well as protection of those resources.
Well, thank you very much. I've come so close to my time that I will submit any additional questions for the record. And I do want to appreciate, Mr. Chairman, the hearing you're having today, and so that, I really appreciate the bills that you've brought together as a group for us to listen to the testimony and consider today. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlewoman yields.